Recording in progress.
Good evening. I call to order our City Council meeting for this evening, Wednesday, September 27th, 2023. Councilmember McConaughey, Worthen, and Jacob are on the dais. Councilmember Worthen is online. Councilmember Pack and Green are walking to the dais as we speak. Councilmember Bloom has asked to be excused for the evening. This evening, we will start with our Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Deputy Chief Trevino from our fire department. And we'll start with that. Chief.
Would the audience please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, Chief. First item of business tonight is a special recognition providing advice and consent for our new Public Services Director. Mayor Burton or Mr. Lee, which of you are going to speak to this?
Mr. Lee is going to take this.
Awesome. Corbin.
Under special recognition, as you know, we have an advice and consent process anytime we hire a new department head in the city. Our former Public Services Director took a new position in June, and since that time, we've been looking for a replacement. The Public Services Department oversees the city's streetlights, streetscapes, events, facilities, and parks, plus construction projects, special projects, and a wide variety of other things. It is a massive role in the city, very important, and a very critical role to helping us create a great community. We have before you tonight Corey Freilich as the Public Services Director for Advice and Consent. Corey comes to us from UVU, where he oversaw grounds and facilities at UVU and had over 100 employees working for him there, electricians, custodians, construction employees, grounds crews, and so on. He has a very wide and broad background, very relevant to this position we're hiring for. Prior to his time at UVU, he worked for the Cottonwood Heights Recreation Improvement District, overseeing grounds there. And prior to that time, worked for Pleasant Grove City in roles including event management and facility and ground crew management. So we're very pleased about having Corey. So happy to have him here with us and submit to you his name for advice and consent. He's here. He's in the back. I'd like to ask him to stand if you would. Chair, I look to you if you want him to introduce himself further or take it from there.
Corey, come on up.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know what more I can say. I've worked in facilities and parks 17 years. Absolutely love it. I'm happy to be here. My wife and I live in Pleasant Grove. We have 5 kids, but we're just excited for this opportunity. I actually worked with Warren Hallmark at Cottonwood Heights, and so it's been fun to come to a city that everybody's been so welcoming. So I'm appreciative to be here. I guess the only thing I could add to it, like say, throughout my career in parks, I've achieved almost every certification you can think of. I've been a I was a nationally certified Parks and Rec professional, certified arborist, certified playground safety inspector, pesticides applicator. So I've done all that. They've all expired, but haven't really needed them the last few years in a director capacity. But I really enjoy and love doing facilities and parks work. So I'm happy to be here and hope to be a valuable asset.
Happy to meet you. Councilmember Pack. Have the Committee for Mayoral Appointments had a chance to review his background and resume?
Thank you for asking, Chair. As this is different than having a volunteer capacity, we didn't think that it fell under the exact same criteria. So I haven't met with the subcommittee specifically on this, but there hasn't been any dissenting comment tendered to me.
Beautiful. Thank you. Any questions from the council? Councilmember Green.
I was just going to move to approve resolution number 23-055. I'll second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Green, second by Councilmember Jacob. Any discussion to the motion? Seeing none, since this is a resolution, we do need a roll call vote. Cindy.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Jacob,
Yes.
Councilmember Worthen,
Yes.
Councilmember Pack,
Yes.
Chair McConaughey,
Aye.
Councilmember Whitelock.
Yes.
Thank you. I show that motion passes 6-0.
All right. Thank you. Corey, excited to have you. Welcome. Sure. Mr. Anderson's asking if the council would like to do a quick picture with him. It seems appropriate, so we'll take a second, do a quick picture, and then we'll move on to citizen comments next.
I stand expert.
Just like your stand in the middle of the picture together. Sorry, Connor. There we go. Look here. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Yes, I didn't quit for no reason.
Right, and that brings us to citizen comment. Usually after the Pledge of Allegiance, we jump right into citizen comment unless there's special recognition or something like you saw tonight. Public comment is an opportunity for you to share any of your thoughts with the City Council. You can have up to 3 minutes. You can speak to anything that you'd like. It does not have to be on the agenda, although it could be. We do have a couple of public hearings that are going to happen a little bit later this evening about impact fees. If you'd like to speak about the impact fees, we'd invite you to wait until that point in time. However, you could speak during citizen comment. If you want to, you just won't be able to speak about impact fees during both times. So for those who are online, I do see that we had someone dialed in by phone that didn't have a name on it. We don't take anonymous comments, so we will be asking you to share your name, your city of residence, and then you'll have up to 3 minutes. If there's any specific questions, usually we don't engage in back and forth. This is your time to speak, our time to listen. If you do have specific questions and need to meet with someone specifically from staff, we may have that person get your contact info after, but it's your time to be heard. So with that, can I get a quick show of hands? How many intend to speak tonight during citizen comment that are here in the room? Beautiful. And I know we've got a couple online. We'll start with those that are here in the room first. Anne-Marie, since you're on front row, please come up to the podium.
So I'm Anne Marie. I'm the Bingham Creek Library Manager, and I'm just here to give you a little bit of an update on things going on at the library right now. At Bingham Creek, we have started up our story time again, and we've got story times going at 10:15 in the morning on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays now. So we're really excited and want to invite anybody who wants to come to bring your kids with you and have a great time. It's a really awesome experience. We've got some wonderful librarians. Also, we have a blood drive that is coming up at the library. It's going to be on October 6th, which is a Friday, and it runs from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock that day. So if you're interested, we would definitely welcome you to sign up. You can go to the website, select Bingham Creeks, and just follow the links from there. It's very, very easy. So, but if you have questions, you can always call us, reach out. We're happy to answer any questions. So glad to just be here, part of West Jordan. It's such a wonderful community to work in. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I forgot to mention for those online that wish to speak during citizen comments, we'll go through those who are here in person first, then we'll go to those who are online. If you're online and wish to speak, please hit the little button to raise hand to indicate that you'd like to speak so that we can see who would like to have the microphone opened up to them. Again, it'll be a minute, but if you can go ahead and hit that button, it makes it a little easier for us. All right, next, whoever would like to speak next, come on up to the microphone.
Good evening. Just for council's sake, just so you know, it is a little hard to hear toward the back of the room. So is this a little better? Can people? Okay, here we go.
And if you could start with your name and city of residence.
You bet. My name is Louise Hendrickson. I'm a resident of West Jordan. My husband and I live at 6278 West Copper Dust Lane, which is in the Copperfield Phase 1 subdivision at the intersection of New Bingham Highway and 90th South. Before we bought our home in early 2007, we researched the city's master plan for the area. The site-specific area plan in place at that time, which was dated June 2006, showed that eventually 90th South would go through and at Brokerage Way, New Bingham Highway would close. Brokerage was supposed to be extended south and connect into Prosperity Way. Then Dannon Way was supposed to be extended to the west, and it would connect back into New Bingham Highway between 6400 West and U111. That would have pushed a lot of large trucks and commercial traffic through the industrial park rather than our neighborhood. But in the intervening years, the city allowed development of the Wilshire Place Apartments and the Echo Ridge subdivision, which, contrary to the 2006 master plan, eliminated the ability to extend Dannon Way. By doing so, the city has created a situation in which, for one thing, Copperfield Phase 1 becomes a residential island sandwiched between two major roadways. We never would have purchased our home if we had known it was going to be located between two major roadways. Members of our community have engaged with the city and city leaders over the last years, but we have been told by city leaders that expansion of 90th South 90th South west of Mountain View corridor has been in the transportation plan for decades and cannot be changed. They have seemingly indicated that the city's hands are tied, but the city's hands weren't tied when they made other changes to the transportation plan. And some of those changes have now limited options for future roadways in the area. We recognize that growth will continue, and we must address those things in transportation plans, but we believe there are other alternatives that have not been thoroughly vetted. Please do not add insult to injury by sandwiching our neighborhood between two major roads and further isolating us from our neighbors. We are asking the city to put a hold on 90th South expansion between Mountain View Corridor and U111 until further studies have been completed. Thank you.
Thank you, Lenny. All right, who would like to speak next? So we do ask that to help maintain the decorum, if you could hold off on any applause or cheering or booing, anything like that, be appreciated. Who would like to speak next? Come on up, just share your name and city of residence.
Hi, I'm Amanda George.
At the over here. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Amanda George, and I live at 9081 Coppering Avenue in West Jordan. Every day I walk to school with my friends. We cross 90 South. I also like to walk my dog Daxton to the dog park. My church is also across 90 South. All the places I need to go to will be more dangerous if there is a busy street blocking my way. My friends and I also play outside. I don't want to live in a noisy neighborhood. Please make sure that I can stay safe in my neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Please come to the microphone, share your name, city of residence, and then begin.
Hello, I am Nathan George, and I live at 9081 Coppering Avenue in West Jordan. I am here with some of my best friends. We like to ride bikes, play night games, and play video games. All of my friends live north of 90th South. When my mom told me about the road going through, I decided to start counting how many times I crossed 90th South being between school, churches, parks, and my friend's house. Just since Sunday, and not counting when I have crossed in a car, I have already crossed the road 14 times. Most of these times were when my friends and I were together, not with an adult. If this road goes through, especially if there aren't crosswalks with pedestrian controlled signals, my mom won't let me cross this road alone. That means that I will be cut off from church, school, friends, and parks, and that makes me feel sad. Right now, my neighborhood is quiet and safe, but when the road goes through, it will be loud and the road is going to be dangerous. I will feel less safe and I will miss out on a lot of fun times with my friends who live on the other side of 90th South. If you put this road in, please make sure that there are safe ways for kids like me to cross. Thank you for making hard choices for us, Jordan, and listening to me tonight.
Thank you. Okay. Who'd like to speak next? I swear I saw more than 3 hands. Please, come on up.
Hello, I'm Melissa Hiller. I live at 6208 West Black Goose Circle in West Jordan. I am also here for two reasons, actually. One, the 90th South discussions that you've been hearing. I echo all of their sentiments, so I'm not going to repeat them. But I also am the PTA president at Antelope Canyon Elementary, and I wanted to bring up a safety concern that I have noticed with the building that is going on with 90th South. So in between Bacchus and 6400 West, we have construction implementing, right? And the construction company that is working on that has selected to have their main entrance into the workplace like 20 feet from the school entrance. It is so dangerous. It is dangerous during pickup and drop off. We have these massive trucks coming through our crosswalks, trying to turn left into this area where we have all of the school traffic coming and going. So my request for the city is to please contact them and ask them to pick any other part of the field to be their entrance into working on 90th South. It's just so scary. And this year we have full day kindergarten. We have 4 new preschool classes. So we have a lot of really young students. Our preschool teacher politely called them flight risks. And having all of those giant trucks coming down, I mean, we're just getting a little bit nervous. So I don't know if someone can talk to Ivory or the contractor to see what we can do to make some changes to make our school zone a little bit safer. I also don't know if it's an option to have more people there, I don't know that crossing guards are the answer, but more eyes on the road. This morning alone, when I walked my kids to school, I think we had 3 or 4 of those huge side dump trucks coming through right as school was starting, and it's just concerning. So if you wouldn't mind looking into that, we would really appreciate it and want to keep our kids safe as they go to school and come home from school. We would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. With requests like that, Mayor, is it going to be you, Mr. Lee? I see Scott's already going that way. Greg Davenport's going that way. There's about 4 people who are looking to get your contact information to get a little more info on that. Okay, thank you. Please come on up to the podium.
My name is Teresa McIntyre. I am a citizen of, resident of West Jordan. I'm here to just talk about the 90th South expansion. One of the objectives stated on the West Jordan website for the 90th South Road project is to create a better community with opportunities to live, work, and play. And I find this awfully ironic because putting that currently closed section of road through will actually create the opposite effect for the families that currently live in that area. And it's going to actually inhibit their ability to live, work, and play, as you heard earlier from residents and especially from our children. So I would just urge you to think about the destructive impact upon existing community members and not just the benefits for future people that may move into the city, but your current people that live and work here. And I would just like to ask if there's anybody else here that agrees with that sentiment and that is here today. So
keep your hands up just for a second here. 2, 4, 6, 7, 10. All right, for those who are online and don't have a good view of the room, there's between 15 and 20 hands that went up there.
Yeah,
sorry,
so
continue.
I would just encourage you to think about other options and to put a hold on the work that is currently going through or planning to go through until all options have been considered. I know that something else can be done because plans have changed in the past. And so I just encourage you to really consider before a final decision is made. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Who else would like to speak tonight? All right. I don't see anybody else. Oh, please come on up. Again, name, city of residence, and then.
My name is Laurie Sheen. I also live in West Jordan with these other fine people, my good friends and neighbors. Thank you for your time as well as the time that was spent on Monday for those who came to our neighborhood to listen to our concerns about safety, livability, sense of community, and noise, for example. And I'm not going to address any of those in detail today, but maybe next time. And so if the entire city council is involved in these issues, I'm really happy that we can continue sharing this conversation. My family moved into our home almost 17 years ago. We love the home. We love the people in our community. But being sandwiched between New Bingham and 9000, right from the beginning, we had some concerns about what would happen, and we started dialogues with people. It has been somewhat disconcerting to hear from city officials that our neighborhood should never have been approved or built because we're here, we're there, and now we actually have to deal with the ramifications of those choices. We love our community. We don't like thinking that it was a mistake, but I realize that the location brings challenges. Apparently, city and state planners really like straight lines, and I understand, and our little neighborhood does not fall within straight lines. And so we've often heard that decision was made long before my time, suggesting that maybe the people who are in office right now are not responsible for things that happened in the past. But I'd like you just to consider that whatever happened with your predecessors before, you are now our elected representatives to deal with our issues right now. And I appreciate your attention to that. Another comment that we've heard is that it's a UDOT matter. We can't do anything. Well, guess what? We ordinary citizens don't have any connections with UDOT, but we know that you do, and we're counting on you to use your influence on our behalf. It has been frustrating in the past to know that these concerns have been brought up really over the years many times with our representatives, and our thoughts have gone unheeded. I'd like to bring up one more thing. I've been hearing lately that our requests for reconsideration of the plans are too late, that the ship has sailed, but I reject that idea. It hasn't happened yet. It's not too late. I've heard lots of great suggestions, and I just know that if open-minded and smart people put their hearts and their minds to it and consider the needs of our little community, I feel really confident that solutions can be found. So I ask you please to put a hold on this project until our concerns can be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else would like to speak that's here in person? Come on up.
Okay, so the papers that I have brought, some of us have frantically been trying to collect. Can you give us your name, please? Oh, I'm sorry. I am Jackie Gale. I live in West Jordan. I am up in right behind the ball fields, Black Goose Circle. So the packets that we've sent out, there is a map. Just we were hoping that you guys would be able to follow along because I'm sure some of you aren't familiar with the area possibly. So, and then we've been collecting data information from people that couldn't be here tonight. I'm probably going to stumble a little bit because I don't want to repeat a lot of things that have been said, but you as our council members, we need your help. I do not live in that small triangle piece of land that has 50 plus homes in it, but my children have friends that are over there, and I'm emotional. My son won't come up and read his because he's scared. He's nervous to cross 90th now. And for the mayor to tell us in a meeting last week that there is nothing in place and nothing that he can do at this point is heartbreaking for me, because he's being cut off from friends. We don't socialize with the people that live in those condos that are on the other side of Bingham. I mean, we may see them at school, but they're on the other side of a busy road. And the road for New Bingham, from what I can see on aerial maps, matches up with Harriman, like all those major roads, they go at that angle if you look at Google Maps. And it seems like the road that's there shouldn't be there, but it is now. And it seems like it would be easier to widen that road and to go with that rather than create a whole nother road that goes through when there's not the development that there's on the east side and the numbers that are over here. I know that it's growing, but there's a mountain, so it stops eventually. There's a few concerns that we do have, and I have a lot of notes, and a lot of people have taken notes over the years since I've lived here. I've been in my home about 5 years. I've attended 4 to 5 meetings, thinking that those representatives that were in those meetings were bringing information back to our city council members and addressing things. But it seems that we start over every time. It's like, oh, this has been approved now. Oh, this development is going in. And so we've been trying to do our part to be interactive, and we need your help. What we're asking is that you help us put a hold on it until there can be some more conversation, till we can see if studies match up with what's happening. Park plans, I'm wondering if it's going to work with traffic plans along Brokerage Way. There's issues. So I just ask that the city council, the mayor, city staff, please consider to put a hold on this project for now.
Thank you. Who else that's in the room would like to speak to the council? Please, come on up.
My name's Casey Barnes. I live on Brokerage Way, and I just can't really understand how this road's going to help us at all, because Brokerage dead ends to a T at the other side of the neighborhood, which is going to have a bridge that goes over it, which will allow people to go east and west there. New Bingham works really well the way it is, and I've lived in West Jordan my whole life, so I remember when it used to go angled all the way to Arctic Circle, which you can still see the remnants of that. And so they changed it to relocate the road that time. And now I just can't understand why we would want to put more traffic into the neighborhood when all the businesses are on one side of the road, including Amazon and all the other places that are over there. There's a bunch of them, as you well know. So I don't understand why. It seems like a pretty good dividing line. Neighborhood on right, businesses on the left. There's already a stoplight, 2 stoplights there because of Mountain View, and then one at 5600. And now we're talking about putting another one right next to where the other traffic lights are, where it could be on 6400 and would make sense because there's an intersection there. And then you could loop back to Duck Ridge or the park or anything without bringing all that traffic through a neighborhood that dead ends on the other side. So it's not going to help any north-south travel. It would on 6400 where the roundabouts are and the straight through goes all the way to 78th. But Duck Ridge dead ends. So how does a stoplight on Duck Ridge help traffic flow north to south? Because there's no road on the other side. So it seems like 6400 would be a more logical place to have an intersection and then keep the neighborhoods on one side and the other developments on the other, where all the big trucks turn left and traffic flows all the way out, including the hundreds of Amazon trucks that drive by every day. It's like a train. So it'd be good to keep that out of a neighborhood and keep that going over where there is no stoplights or people crossing on foot, and the neighborhood where the park and the kids and the people play are safer to be at. So I agree with all the other things that these nice people have said. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Who else would like to speak that's in the room?
My name is Chad Lamb.
Some of you know me. I wasn't going to say anything tonight, but I love what I'm hearing from the citizens tonight. Having served on the council for 4 years previously, I wondered when this day would come, and it's here. And the citizens are here, and they're speaking to our elected officials. And you guys have the chance to listen to them, and our mayor too. When I first saw that wedge that we talked about, and I heard the word mistake, yeah, maybe it was a mistake then, but we have a chance now as a city council and as a city to not make a mistake and to look at this more thoroughly. I understand traffic patterns. I understand why they wanted to go through, but these are the people that we need to listen to tonight, not you, Doc. Thank you.
All right. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak tonight? Please, come on.
No, go ahead. I'm trying to get there, but just speaking from the heart.
Okay, here's the deal. So
Please start with your name and city residence, and then we'll start the
you
time.
don't know who I am. My name is Barbara Pringle. I'm a resident of West Jordan with all these nice people here. I wear a hearing aid, so I can't hear, so the noise isn't going to bother me. Okay? I have no small children, so that's not a problem for me personally. I don't live on Duckbridge, but hey, I care about my community. This is a tight-knit community. Our neighborhood is tight-knit. What I ask of you as council members is that you come and look at our community. I mean, really look at it. Ooh, getting shaky. So nowadays, it seems that progress is nothing but corporations and building, and our legislature is what, 95% developers, real estate, right? Right? Am I not right? Yeah. So we need to think about people. And I ask all of you to come and look at my community and really, really look at not a map that has lines and those little boxes. Those boxes are homes. And in those homes are families. Kids that can't go play with their friends across the street. And you guys have the ability, and I hope the conscience, to make this right. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Barbara. Come on up.
So my name is Carrie McConaughey. We live in West Jordan. We live on Brokerage Way, and our house backs 90th South. First, I want to echo what Melissa said about the trucks. I dropped my daughter off at Antelope Canyon and went to go turn into our neighborhood, and I had a semi with a dump bed on it coming down the emergency lane, so I could not turn into my neighborhood. So definitely needs to be addressed. And then second, we cross between the two neighborhoods at a minimum 4 to 5 times a week. We're dropping children off. We're picking them up from dance, from school, from different church activities. We don't want to be shooting the gap and we have to go across there all the time. And honestly, what makes our neighborhood special and that area special is that it's quiet. It's that it's, there's not traffic coming through there. I mean, you just smell the bread factory in the morning, and that's what makes it special, is that it is quiet. When we first moved out here, we've had neighbors that have come and visited us from different parts, and they said the same thing. They're like, it is so quiet out here. Even though you can still hear things going by a new Bingham, but I don't want that in my backyard. And my kids play with other kids, and they live across the 90th South and vice versa. And to literally have no traffic controls, I mean, that's kind of, it's pretty sad to not do anything to slow that stuff down. And, most of you guys have gone through between 4 and 6 o'clock, it's the Amazon 500 out there. There's freaking 40 of these trucks going. There's one time I was stuck in the middle between 14 of them. I mean, like, it's crazy, but and I understand they want to divert them, but it doesn't, for the cost of that, to open that up, however much that's going to cost, the opening it up between there and Bacchus, like, it's an extra 30 seconds to drive around. It's not worth the safety, and that's what makes our neighborhood special, is that it's quiet, that there's not a lot of traffic. And I also feel that the new bridge going in is going to alleviate a lot of traffic, but it's not. That's what makes our neighborhood special. So thank you.
Can I get your last name one more time?
McConaughey.
Okay, close.
Often pronounced as McConaughey.
I was going to say close. Mine usually gets McConaughey. Yeah. Yep. So if you want to read, you're welcome to have your mom come up if you wanted to read comments with you. If not, that's fine too. Did anyone else want to? Okay. All right. If you want to speak, please come on up. For the folks that are online, we'll get to you as soon as we're done with everyone who's here in person.
My name's Logan Gregory, West Jordan. We had a meeting last night with the mayor, and as was stated before, this is already a done deal. You guys are wasting your time, which makes me wonder why we had a meeting with the mayor in the first place. I don't know where the money is. I don't know what the drive is to push 90. How you doing, Chief? I don't know what the drive is to punch 90th South through. I don't know what the benefits are. I don't know what you guys did on your risk assessment. I have no idea where that is. All I can state is, and echo what everybody here has spoken about. Now it says typically, because I know my words sometimes, typically does not respond or engage. But I'll ask you, how many of you would want that 90th South pushed through if you were in our shoes? Legitimately, sincerely, would you do it? Sir Jacob? You don't know is that tells me you don't know the situation.
Yeah, we do not typically respond, but I'll use some of your 3 minutes, I guess. I'm out there all the time. I know this neighborhood intimately. I run through here. I bike through here. I'm always in this neighborhood. The path that runs behind some of your houses from 64th and goes up to the park, I run on that. It's got a rickety old bridge on it. It's kind of fun, especially when it's icy. Adds a little adventure to my run. So yeah, I know your neighborhood. I know it really well. I'm just wondering if, as 90th South goes further west from here, if you'd rather. So I've got a lot of questions because I haven't been to these neighborhood meetings. This isn't my district, and so I don't get as intimately involved with it. But I do have a lot of questions on what would make it better as 90th South goes further west into these other neighborhoods that are being built, and you've seen the constructions going on already. We've had it brought up. Would you rather that traffic goes down to Bingham and then up 64th?
Yes.
Yeah. Because okay. The reason I asked that is because that just moves the problem. It doesn't change the problem.
And the plan
it just this is turning into an open forum, which is not really
jump in here. We don't do this as a dialogue back and forth.
Let me talk to you after. I'll come out.
Okay, that's telling right there that the council members haven't been to these meetings. The mayor was there last night. Exactly. That's the point. There's a knowledge gap that needs to be filled. We're working on assumptions, on past decisions that were made, not the current situation. So for the council to be able to vote on something, they need to be educated on that topic and what that second and third order effects are to the people that live there now. That's all I ask. Take the time to delve into it. Let's have some meetings and some dialogue. This isn't the place to dialogue. Got it.
All right, and that is time. But if you would please leave your contact information with Mr. Anderson so that he can share that with Councilmember Jacob. Councilmember Jacobs, and all of our information is available on the website to reach out to us directly. But this way he can get in touch with you.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anybody else that's in the room that would like to address the council? Please. You'll need to push there it goes.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Carrie McConaughey. I'm 15 and I live on Swan Ridge Way, just north of 90th South. And I have two younger sisters who frequently go in between both neighborhoods. My younger sister walks to piano lessons once a week. My little sister has best friends in the neighborhood, and I walk to women's once a week to my leader's house over there. And there's just so much crossing that like putting so much more traffic through and make an unsafe situation for so many people. And that if we don't put the proper precautions in to make sure that for public safety that children can safely get to their friends and people to their other families in the neighborhood, then what's the point of having it through if there's nothing going to change about it? And so if the road must go through, then we need to have the proper safety measures in place to keep kids and families safe in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right. I'm not seeing anybody in the room that's raised their hand or coming up to the podium. So we will go to those online. If anybody changes their mind, we can come back, but we'll go to those who are online that wish to speak. Again, if you're online and you wish to speak to the city council, please hit that little button to raise your hand to indicate that you'd like to speak. We'll start with Brett Sigmiller, who used to live just a couple houses down from me before he moved out to this neighborhood out here. Brett, let me hit the button. You should be able to take yourself off mute. And then again, please introduce yourself and city residents, and then we'll start the 3-minute timer.
Okay, perfect. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
All righty. My name is Brett Segmiller, West Jordan. I'll be brief. I wasn't able to make it tonight due to some scheduling conflicts, but I echo every one of my neighbors' sentiments and everything they said 100%. We're all on board and we all agree that this should not go through and we need to have more dialogue and more discussion about fixing this problem. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. I'm not seeing any other hands online. I had seen some hands that popped up. Oh, there we go. Andrea, I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, so if you would please introduce yourself. You should be able to unmute, and then we'll have you introduce yourself, and we'll start the timer.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can, yes.
Okay. Yes, my name is Andrea Shovers. I am a resident also of the same neighborhood, West Jordan. And I agree as well with all of my neighbors. We are a very tight-knit community, as you have heard, and I agree with everything that they have all stated and said tonight.
Awesome. Anything else to add?
Nope, that is it.
I love concise. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is Robin Moody. Robin, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Okay, I hope that you can hear me now.
Yep, now we can.
Okay, perfect. So my name is Robin Moody. I am the second house in on Duck Ridge, and this affects me like pretty bad. When you put, I mentioned this in our meeting the other night, you're putting so many people in danger by opening that up. We're talking about people coming off of Mountain View Corridor at 50 plus miles per hour, and they don't slow down. And although my kids are older now, I still care about our community and agree with everything that all of our community members have said, that this is a major safety issue and you're putting the lives of our kids at risk. I have a personal friend whose son did pass away on Mountain View Corridor, and I don't want to see that happen to any of these other children. So again, I agree and just wish that there's something that we can do to stall this and see what other plans that we could come up with. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Robin. Give me just a second here. And then the last person who's hit the raise hand icon is Jeff Newman. So if you're online, I see quite a few others that are online. If you'd like to speak, please hit that button to raise hand. Jeff, let me allow you to talk. All right, you should be able to unmute yourself now.
Great, thank you. Yes, this is Jeff Newman, resident of West Jordan, and just neighbor of everyone else that's spoken. I don't need to add any additional to it. I think just wanted to provide my support for the same commentary that everyone else has provided as well. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Next up, this one I'm not sure the name. There's no name here. It just says Galaxy S21 Plus 5G. So if you would, you've been unmuted or you've been given permission to speak. Looks like you've unmuted. Yeah, please introduce yourself, city of residence, and we'll start your time.
Sorry, my name's Amy Hoyle. I'm also in the same neighborhood. Again, same support as everyone else, but my main plea is just to the city council and the mayor. We know that at some point somebody helped the other people change the original plans. And so that's just my plea as well to just please listen to your constituents and give us an honest shot at trying to engage in conversations to make something right or something where everyone can be on a same page or find an agreement or middle ground. So that's just my plea is please help us. We've elected you. We have faith in you. We're trusting in you. And that's just my plea to please help us. We believe in you. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. All right, I'm not seeing any other hands online. I don't see anybody who's dialed in just by phone. There we go. Scott Perry, let me give you there we go. You should be able to unmute yourself, Scott.
Yes, I'm a 12-year resident of West Jordan, all in this neighborhood, just living west of Duck Ridge and north of 90th South. I joined a little late, so I'm not sure if these concerns have been brought up before, but my first concern is the isolation of the neighborhood surrounded on 64th West, New Bingham, and 90th South. 3 major roadways that will prevent this neighborhood from getting in and out very easily, but not to mention the safety issues, which have been discussed quite a bit. But the other thing is Duck Ridge Way, connecting that at 90th South. Duck Ridge was never designed to handle any kind of traffic, but it would be the closest point to heading east on 90th South for that neighborhood. So it would definitely receive a lot of traffic there, not designed for it. And it would make it very difficult for the neighbors and residents that live on that street, not to mention the safety issues. There's a lot of houses that are directly on that. They're not backing it, but they actually have their driveways on Duck Ridge Way. And the last thing that I'd like to point out, I'm not sure if it's been talked about, but we have a very good intersection that's existing already that connects New Bingham Highway over to 64th West. And I don't think anyone has any issues with the portion of 90 South that's being built now from 64th West up to 111. But routing the traffic over to New Bingham Highway and up 64th West does actually help with all of the issues that we've been discussing, because there is no crossing from over to that portion of 90th South. The elementary school crossing is actually across 90th in between those. It doesn't have to cross 64th, so the traffic there would not be an issue. But also the fact that it would require a lot more money to reconfigure that intersection just to put the traffic onto 90th. And I don't really actually see the purpose for that there's actually a good reason for that. And I've tried to find where there's anybody advocating what is the reason why this has to go through, or who wants to see it go through, what specific reason there is for it to go through. The only people that I've talked to are those that are in favor of not connecting, to leave that portion disconnected so that the traffic doesn't go through, so that the connection to Duck Ridge Way does not happen, and just leave it as it is going up New Bingham Highway through 64th, or continue up New Bingham to 111 as well. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Scott. All right, I'm not seeing any other hands raised online. Is there anybody else in the room that would like to speak but hasn't yet? All right, we will close citizen comment at this point. However, you are welcome to contact the city council at any time. As mentioned, our contact information is up on the city website. There's also a phone number where you can leave a message that's recorded and it gets sent to all of the council. Happy to chat with anybody. Let's move on. And we will have our reports to city council. We'll start with the reports from city council. Council member, you're all welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. Listen to the rest of the meeting. You're also not obligated to stay through the entire thing. But yeah, we'd encourage you to listen if you'd like. Councilmember Green, reports for the week or a couple weeks.
So last Saturday, some of you may not have known that, but was the annual Guns and Hoses softball game, and the fire department came out on top, notwithstanding Zach Jacob and a couple of pretty good hits and at least one RBI that I counted. What's that? The final score, we were trying to take what the over and under was, and we finally decided that the over and under had to be about 75 points. So, and it was pretty close. It was a great time out in the park. Thank you to the police and the fire department for inviting us. I got the opportunity. The mayor twisted my arm. It's been 20 plus years since I stepped out on a softball field and umpired a softball game, but it was fun, and it was good to be out on a Saturday morning and doing something besides being stuck in bed. That's been part of my life for the last several months. So. Thanks for letting me umpire, Chief. Pass that on to the rest of your fire department. Congratulations. My wife said that the hamburgers were some of the best hamburgers. So whoever cooked those, nice job. And I look forward again to it next year. Thank you.
Councilmember Jacob.
Thank you. I just tack on to that. I was very grateful to get the invite from the police department to play with them. It was a whole lot of fun. I haven't played softball in about 20 years, and a little bit of that showed, but it kind of came back to me pretty quick. I was a little hobbled, so I wasn't able to move as well as I'd like. My kids are happy to point that out to me, how my running from first to third kept the guy behind me from getting a home run. Apparently he hit it deep into the gap, and I was on first when he hit it deep into the gap, and I made it around to score, but I was too slow to let him get around to score. Hopefully next year I'll be in better shape, because really I'd love to play center field instead of first base, because that's where the police department really needs the backup. So happy to fill in again next time around. I jumped ship to the fire department, but they don't need any help. They're fine. They're putting up 40 runs a game. So no problem there, but it was a lot of fun. I really appreciated the invite to play, and with any luck, I'll be around next year to give it one more chance.
Councilmember Pat.
Oh, thank you, Chair McConaughey. Yeah, a sidebar comment on that. I love the staff report, how it said that the reason that fire department did so well is that our police department does so well at addressing crime and public safety that fire department had enough time to practice. So that was great. Thank you. It was wonderful going to the monster truck event and being able to support the city. I think that when we have events, it brings community together, different segments of the population, different demographics. And it was wonderful to be able to facilitate a meet and greet with the royalty. Mayor Burton and I were in the big monster truck, and there were some constituents outside and some girls in tears because they didn't get to meet the princess. And so thankfully we were able to get them backstage to meet the princess. Attended a ribbon cutting at University of Utah, or U First Credit Union. It was wonderful to see their operation and how they have plans for expansion for multiple buildings on their campus in Jordan Landing, to see how that's growing. Great for business development and economic boom. Grateful to be able to attend some public or some neighborhood meetings for residents that have concerns, to be able to hear what they have to say. And I would have gladly attended Guns and Hoses, but I was pulling double duty as the Copper Hills High girls tennis coach at state championships, and representing PTA there as Copper Hills PTA president. And that's all to report tonight. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. So I'll chime in. Items to report. First off, Saturday morning, I wish the Guns and Hoses event hadn't been on top of soccer games. We had a lot of that Saturday morning that prevented me from going. However, we were able to catch up with the event that was going on down by the Jordan River. I was there a little bit early. That was fun to participate in. So thanks to our events team for putting that on. And then Councilmember Pack and I did, as was mentioned, Councilmember Pack and I did have an opportunity to join the mayor in the neighborhood meeting to discuss the development that we've heard a little bit about tonight. Obviously, this isn't agendized, so there's not been a packet of information that's been provided to the council. But I just wanted to give a little bit of insight from my perspective on this one. I want to say thank you to the mayor and to Mr. Lee for helping to add some clarification. I had a good conversation with them after the meeting to help understand a little bit better what's going on with this one. There's a couple projects that are happening. There's two of them, and it might help to segregate them a little bit. There's a completion of 90th South between 6400 West and U111. And then there's also a separate project for the realignment of the intersection at Brokerage Way, 90th South, and New Bingham. Is that correct? Okay. So it's the 90th South from 6400 West over to U111 that's received funding from the legislature that's in process right now. Mr. Lee was going to check and see if he could get a little additional insight to share with the council. I had asked him for me, but obviously that'll go to the whole council with what the process would look like for a potential realignment of that intersection. And that's what's got folks rather worried. One of the concerns is the plan if you go back to 2006, the plan that was shown was 90th South connecting all the way, just a straight shot out. Well, I guess it's going this way, just a straight shot out to U111. You heard about how the idea at the time on that plan was that New Bingham would be rerouted over to Prosperity. But then there's been some developments that prevent that. The plan that's out there now shows large capacity roads, almost highways on both 90th South and New Bingham Highway. New Bingham Highway staying as is, and also doing something on 90th South. So some of the folks mentioned that, we'd be okay if it was one or the other, but not both. And the current plan has it being both. So that's what was kind of in my mind as I went out there and was looking at what they were trying to describe. All the traffic from 90th South, from I-15 all the way through Mountain View Corridor, straight shot through 90th South that's dividing the residential, and also having New Bingham Highway that's taking everything on the industrial side as well. So that's kind of what was being described. So we have a lot of information that's been shared here. I encourage you to read that. For those who aren't here, I know Councilmember Bloom's not here. Mr. Anderson will share that with her. And Councilmember Worthen online, we do have a copy for you as well. That is all that I've got to report. If not seeing any other lights or hands raised, so we will move from there over to the council office report from Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Council. The only thing I have for tonight is for Mr. Hallmark to give an update on the Youth Council. If you remember, earlier this year, the council had a youth committee made up of Councilmember Green, Councilmember Whitelock, Councilmember Worthen. Some paperwork was drafted. The body asked us to run it through legal. We did receive that information in early to mid-August. Mr. Hallmark started in late August, and he's been working as a priority under my direction to get that paperwork completed. So I just want to have Mr. Hallmark give an update of where that status is.
Just a few more things to add that with the paperwork, the documentation that has been cleared on our end, it's gone to the district. We've been able to establish contact with West Jordan and Copper Hills High Schools, getting in touch with the vice principals and the staff members that are over their student government groups. Alan and I will also go to the high schools to meet with those representatives and hope to meet with several students and be able to pass out applications at that time. We're in the process of getting the Youth Council program information on the website, which we hope will be live in the coming days, which will in turn allow us to get the applications out and about and start to receive those. By the time we meet, then in the 1st of October, we anticipate applications will be out and about. We'll be hopefully getting those, and we have an application deadline of tentatively for October 20th, hoping to have the first meeting with the youth on November 14th. So we're off and rolling. this will be the last time you get updates. Next time we talk, we'll actually have some action items to discuss with you, and we'll look forward to the progress of the program and getting it launched.
We have questions from Councilmember Green, then Councilmember Whitelock.
Councilmember Whitelock.
Reverse first. Councilmember Whitelock.
You mentioned getting it to student government, but that's great, but they're already involved. How else are we contacting just the students that maybe aren't already involved?
Sure. Yeah, no, this isn't tailored just to student government involvement. It's involved to anybody in or out of student government, anybody in 9th or 12th grade that is a West Jordan resident. So while student government is where we're starting, we will also be working with counselors at the schools that will be able to work with students that are potentially interested. Political science teachers, we'll be working with teachers, counselors, however many it makes sense, and at the permission of the principals to be able to facilitate and get flyers to potentially interested students. It's not entirely just for those that are already involved in student government.
Okay, and it's been 4 years, so I'm not sure. But West Jordan used to have a newspaper many years ago. Copper Hills did. Those are kind of going away. I understand that, but I'm sure there's still a way that they contact their students, whether it's, I don't know how.
Email, and then there's a common program called Peach Jar that goes directly to parents. We're working with the district on that to get the flyers to directly go to homes, to parents in addition to students.
Perfect. The other question I have is adult volunteers. How are we recruiting them?
We'll probably do that similar to how we post jobs. We haven't really talked about the specifics of that yet. Our main priority is getting the program itself out. From previous experience, we can run without an adult volunteer. I myself would be staffing it, and then we would have select members of the council that would assist. So while an adult volunteer is ideal to carry some of the workload, it's not absolutely essential this time, but we will be looking forward to promoting that and getting some volunteers on board.
Okay, and then I didn't respond to the email, and I probably should have, that Councilmember Green was going to. I just felt a few of the things could be, the verbiage could be a little kinder. It sounded pretty harsh. It was, I can't give you,
Are you talking about the youth application or the?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Okay.
I just think the wording could be changed slightly so it sounds a little more inviting.
Sure. Yeah, no, and that document that you would have seen was originally written by Cassidy. It's been revised by me. It's had input from a few different people. So we're looking forward to your input to collectively make a bunch of voices in one single document. So definitely open to that input.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just going to say there's a couple of things in the document that we need to change. Particularly, we need to make it one document that'll last forever, and that we're not changing the document every year for every program year. So I will get with you, and I've talked with Councilmember Whitelock about some of those changes. So I will get with you probably first the next week. This week's probably bad, but maybe on Friday we can get together. We cannot forget that we have a third high school in the city. We have Itinerous High School over by Jordan Valley. I'm sorry, I got to get it right. Holy Cross Hospital, Jordan Valley. We have Itinerous High School that we need to be able to work with them and get that distributed. I would also suggest, and I imagine Councilmember Pat's probably got a couple of good contacts at Copper Hills High, like with PTSA, including Stephanie Southworth. She's involved, if I remember, a couple other people. I don't know anybody at West Jordan except Councilmember McConaughey's mom. Probably knows everybody in the dog from the last 20 years at West Jordan High School. Or is that longer, Chris? Yeah, she was probably there when my son graduated from West Jordan High. So don't be afraid to leverage some of the other people who have contacts in with the schools here to get other contacts.
Will do. Thanks.
All right. Anything else on the council office report?
Nope, that is all. Thank you, council.
All right. Let's hear from Mayor Burton.
Thank you, Council Chair. And thank you, Councilmember Green, for being the umpire on the drop of a hat and calling Zach out at the right times. I mean, Councilmember Jacob out at the right times. Do you have that ready? Okay, let's go ahead. So West Jordan High School had their homecoming football game. I was invited along with the police department to help get the game ball out to them. It was fun. We did it on motorcycles. Got it. The game started. And yes, I had a helmet on. Oak Hills Elementary PTA Carnival was Friday, September 15th. I hope some of you made it there. It was a great event. I was only there for about 10, 15 minutes because there were 16 things happening that night. Monster Truck Rally, that was great. I know some of you were at that as well. Thank you for coming and participating in that. The weather couldn't be any better, and we had a good time watching those vehicles pretend they could climb over things. Well, they didn't pretend, they actually did it. So thank you for helping us make that happen. We look forward to that coming back again next year. Something really exciting, the Autism Council of Utah donated 87 Autism Century bags to our police department. Now, what these Century bags are, is they've got things in there because autism children minds work in special compartments, and these are ways for them to use. And I shouldn't be speaking on this because I'm not good at this, but what they taught me, for them to express themselves in ways during times that are difficult for them. And so you know, and the public knows, our police department in West Jordan have had and continue to receive training on working with autistic people, adults and children, so that we don't have mishaps like some other communities may have had. In fact, our police department was impressed the Autism Council by a great degree. When they first got there, they were making comments how, no, if we have a problem, we don't call the police. So like, if we have a problem, we know we can call the police and they'll be dependable with our special needs. So thank you for that. And Councilmember McConaughey was able to join us because he also can relate even better than I can with autistic children. So thank you, Councilmember McConaughey, for joining with us there. Jordan River Parkway has a scavenger hunt going on. It's been going on the entire month of September, which means it ends this week. If you have not yet participated, you still have a couple of days left to do it. Take advantage of this opportunity and see if you can be a winner. And winners will be broadcast, so you'll see the fantastic shots other people have taken. The U First Credit Union headquarters ribbon cutting was already announced. Thank you for those at the council that were able to join with us. This is a great asset for our city. It's the worldwide headquarters is right here in West Jordan. Okay, their state headquarters too. And then the Jordan River Fun Walk. Councilmember McConaughey mentioned that for a couple of minutes. It was fun to see all the different booths that were set up and the people who came and took an opportunity to see what the Jordan River looks like and win some prizes. Our final food truck was last night. Weather couldn't have been better. It'll be coming back in June. Remember, Tuesday nights at Ronwood Park is Food Truck Tuesday. Things coming up. We'd like you to be able to join with us as the Golden West Credit Union's having their ribbon cutting. That'll be on Friday this week. So I hope to see you there. This Saturday, bike with the mayor. Get your bike out and you can come join with me. And that would be good for you to have join with us over there. And then our final dumpster day is going to be Saturday, October 7th, final for this year. We'll do more again next year. So any trash you didn't get dropped off yet, here's your chance. Come bring it out. We'll have green waste out there along with normal trash. So come visit with us and get that taken care of. And that is my report.
So quick question, Mayor. I know this is a little bit further out, but while we've got folks who are pretty close and may be interested, what was the date again for the Home Depot ribbon cutting and opening?
That is on the 25th, on a council meeting day. The reason I hesitated because they were changing the dates a couple of times, and I just remembered the date was settled on is the council meeting date. So that'll be the 25th at 5 p.m. So everybody is invited to come. In addition, public is invited, but the council, I hope you could be there to help us. It's really not a ribbon cutting. They told me it's going to be a board cutting.
Probably more appropriate. Councilmember Pack, did you have a question as well?
Well, thank you. This pertains back to an item previous to that. When you're talking about networking, it wouldn't necessarily just be with PTA, but if you could involve community council, for instance, as Councilmember Green mentioned, Stephanie Southworth. I know that she's the president of the community council. So sorry to backtrack. I was just waiting for my turn there. So, but nothing pertaining to this current item. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Anderson.
I just wanted to add one little piece to the Home Depot board cutting is that the store is planning to open to the public at 6 p.m. on October 25th after the board cutting. So you're there for the board cutting at 5. They'll have, like, I don't know what they'll have, but then it'll be open to the public at 6 p.m.
So those who may be there could still join City Council through Zoom while they're wandering through the store. All right. Thank you, Mayor. CAO's report, Mr. Lee.
Just have 2 things for you this evening. One, as you know, West Jordan City is a member of Salt Lake VEC. VEC is Valley Emergency Communications Center. That's our regional 911 center. VEC has gone through a major renovation this past year and a half, and that renovation is complete. This is also VEC's 35th anniversary year. West Jordan was a founding member of VEC. As a result, on November 15th, we will be having an open house for VEC and invite the elected officials and the public to tour the dispatch center, see the renovations, and celebrate VEC's 35th anniversary. I believe it will start at 4 p.m. So if you would like to mark your calendars and want to see the dispatch center, that open house again will be on November 15th, I believe at 4 p.m.
Also, Council.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did they have a back order on power panels? Oh, never mind.
Resist. I'm the chair of VEC, and I've overseen this renovation as well as our city hall, and it had its fair share of hiccups as well, but it was not nearly as comprehensive as our city hall renovation. Second thing I want to note is just to keep you updated. The utility work out at the Wheels Park site has been completed. Now the grading and the construction work for the Wheels Park is underway. If you go by there, you'll notice construction across the street from the pickleball courts at Ronwood Park. That is for the bike park and skate park, the first phase. Updated designs and construction timelines will be announced more broadly to the public here soon.
What's the estimated completion time on that first phase?
Probably early summer 2024. We're quite a bit behind. There have been some delays on that. It was supposed to be finished this fall, but it will be because a lot of concrete work, the majority of the concrete work won't start until the weather warms up enough that we're sure it will go well next spring. But the site work, the overall site work and the pump tracks, some of that work will begin right immediately. That's what's getting started. That's it for me.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Lee? Seeing none, let's move on to public hearings. So tonight we get to wrap up our conversation about impact fees with quite a few ordinances being proposed, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34. So, Ms. Steck.
Thank you, Council. It's kind of the end to a 2-year-long journey, but we've arrived. So we have completed the study and presented them to you. One study session was performed on August 16th, and the other study session with the Council was September 20th. You have heard all of the study. You've had all your questions answered, I hope. And now we would propose to go through the public hearing process and then have the council consider each of the fees individually as a separate ordinance so they can be amended at any time as we update the study annually or every 2 years at the very most. So council will leave it in your very capable hands to open this public hearing and then consider each ordinance, understanding that the ordinances will be adopted however the council should choose, but the effective date for the ordinances will be January 1st of 2024. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Steck. So for those who may not be familiar with impact fees, when you go and you build a property or when you go and improve a property, you build a house on a lot or something like that, you're joining into a larger system of infrastructure that's already there, but you have to pay your portion of the system that's necessary to support what you're building. So we have impact fees for police stations, for fire stations, and some of the larger fire apparatus, impact fees that help pay for our parks. As you're looking at things like, one of the first things that was done when I joined the council was taking $4 million from impact fees and putting it towards the Sierra Newell playground. We also have sanitary sewer, culinary water, stormwater. Those are the different impact fees. These are not the fees that you see each month on your utility bill. Those are usage fees. These are the impact fees that are for new construction. So with that, if you would like to speak on any of these impact fees, we will open up the public hearing, and now would be the opportunity for you to do that. If you're online, please hit the button to raise hand to indicate that you'd like to speak. If you're here in council chambers and would like to speak on the impact fees, please come up to the podium. All right, I am not seeing any hands raised online nor anybody approaching in person. I will note that each one of these, as Ms. Steck noted, each one of these impact fees has its own separate ordinance number. But we'll look to Councilmember Green for a motion here.
I am going to move to approve ordinance numbers 23-29 through 23-24 to amend and adopt the impact fee 34. Yeah, I can read. To amend and adopt impact fee studies, facility plans, and analysis and impacting fee schedules for police, fire, parks, sanitary, sewer, culinary, water, and storm sewer.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Green and a second by Councilmember Worthen. Any discussion to the motion? I just want to say thank you to staff. There's a lot of work that's gone into this over multiple years. A number of course corrections that were needed in both directions. It's a lot of work that's needed to fund the infrastructure that nobody really thinks of, which is fantastic. When people can get up and go to work and come home and go recreate, and they don't have to think about any of the pipes under the street or any of the stations that are providing pumping for some of those utilities. Thank you to staff for making this happen. Councilmember Green?
Me too. I would like to thank staff and the consultant company for doing a great job, giving us some good solid data. I expect that we aren't going to see ordinance number 29-29 in 29. What I hope we see is a regular update to these, so that we don't have the issues that we've had with what's it been, 7 years, 8 years, whatever it's been. And Mr. Davenport shaking his head. So I must be in the ballpark. So yes, thank you. And I know that we'll probably provide some funding to update those, and so that will be good. Let's not lose the momentum on these as we proceed forward.
I'm not seeing any other lights from the council or hands online to indicate more discussion to the motion. Therefore, we will turn to Ms. Quick for a vote.
Councilmember Whitelock.
Yes.
Councilmember Worthen.
Yes.
Councilmember Pack.
Yes.
Councilmember Jacob.
Yes.
Chair McConaughey.
Aye.
Councilmember Green.
Yes.
Thank you for the combined motion. I show it passed 6-0.
I can break up the next one if you want, so that we can have that many separate votes.
No, there's a lot that Ms. Quick has to deal with, trying to keep everything straight with all of us. So having all of those combined into one motion, although we do have separate ordinances for each, so that we can more easily update, seem to be the best approach. So let's move on to ordinance 23-35, which is discussion and possible action amending the city code for level of service and fee coefficients. Ever so intriguing. Ms. Steck.
Council, this is a housekeeping item. Our current code relating to impact fees includes and identifies our last study, the one before you, the one you just adopted. So we are cleaning up the code, removing any reference to any study and just making it generic so that we don't have to keep changing the code, which you've done a very good job of doing over the last 4 years, updating this code. So that's all this is. Thank you.
All right. Are there any questions from council before we open the public hearing? Okay. With that, I will open the public hearing. If you would like to speak to this ordinance where we are removing from code or reference to a direct study to make things a little bit cleaner and easier to understand, now would be your chance to do so. Again, if you've joined us online, please hit the button to raise hand to indicate you'd like to speak. It's kind of funny. I saw 3 people just drop right there. Okay, so public hearing is open. If you'd like to speak, now is your time to do so. And I am not seeing anybody online nor in person, not even Mr. Lamb. So I will look to the council for a motion, discussion. Councilmember Green.
It's a good day when we can eliminate almost 8 lines worth of code out of West Jordan City ordinance. So with that, I am going to move to approve ordinance number 2325, amending West Jordan City Code section 3-7-7.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Green, second by Councilmember Whitelock. Any discussion to the motion?
Did Councilmember Green? Sorry.
We do have a motion as second. Councilmember Whitelock.
I just want to thank staff for listening when we've said, please help us simplify code. This is a great example of a lot of simplifying. Thank you.
All right. I'm not seeing any other discussion, so we'll turn to Ms. Quick for a vote.
Councilmember Jacob.
Yes.
Councilmember Pack.
Yes.
Councilmember Worthen.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitelock.
Yes.
Councilmember Green.
Yes.
Chair McConaughey.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes 6-0.
Mr. Anderson, did you want to make a comment on that one?
No, well, I did, but Councilmember Green, I heard 2325 as opposed to 2335, but the screen is correct.
It's 35. If there was anything, it's 35. So.
All right. My understanding was 35 was the intention as well. So thank you for spurring the clarification so it's on record.
Chair, I'm going to move that we approve the consent items.
I'll second, but I do want discussion.
All right, so we have motion by Councilmember Green, second by Councilmember Whitelock. The items that we have on consent include minutes, and then there are a couple of other housekeeping items as well. We have an interlocal agreement with Salt Lake County for the, I believe this is the stormwater campaign. We have interlocal agreement with Salt Lake County for the home investment partnership. This is something that we typically do with CDB Community Development Block Grant. And the only change to this, I believe, is Harriman wanted to join in the program. So this is an update to the language of that to allow that one. And then we have the update to the list of folks with the city who are authorized to sign on the State Treasurer Public Treasurer's Investment Fund, and some housekeeping items there. So those are the items that we have on consent. Councilmember Green's lights up by Councilmember Whitelock asked first.
Maybe Greg, you know this, maybe you don't, I don't know, but it says that educational materials will be distributed. Do you know how they're going to be distributed?
This is for the media campaign for stormwater?
Yes.
This is the We All Live Downstream campaign, and so some of it is through media ads, and some of it through specific events that Salt Lake County holds with school children, where they hand out things to kids.
Okay, and then I just want to go on record with I'm not thrilled that there's a CPI index increase in that contract. That I don't know, doesn't sit well with me.
I will quickly share my appreciation for the We All Live Downstream campaign. I will note that while my mom often tunes in to listen to council meeting. She's not here tonight. But when I was in elementary school, they came out and explained that, hey, everything that goes in the gutter ends up in the Jordan River. And I was able to go home and tell her that after we mop the floor, after she makes me mop the kitchen floor, it was not a good idea to take that mop bucket and dump it out in the gutter. It should go in the toilet. I learned that from this type of campaign. So it's fun to correct my mom. Okay. If there are no other questions, comments on this one, we have a motion and a second. So let's turn to Ms. Quick for a vote. Sorry, snuck up on you kind of quick.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Let's start with Councilmember Pat, please.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitelock.
Yes.
Chair McConaughey.
Aye.
Councilmember Green.
Yes.
Councilmember Worthen.
Yes.
Councilmember Jacob.
Yes.
Thank you. That motion passes 6-0.
All right, that brings us to council remarks. We will start with Councilmember Whitelock.
When invited, I try to make it to things. If I'm not aware of things, I can't attend. If you're holding an event and you want the council there, it would be great if you contacted the council via council comments at westjordan.utah.gov. That way it ensures that we are all invited to the event that occurs. I am not opposed to us having some dialogue in a work session about the Copperfield subdivision, and would be happy to be one of the people we need to, but one of the people to say, let's have that on the agenda.
Thank you. Councilmember Pat.
Well, thank you, Chair. I'm grateful for that comment, Councilmember Whitelock, because I only learned about the meeting to which we referred from a constituent. I didn't know about it any other way. So I would wholeheartedly agree. It would be nice for all of us to be informed of what's going on, especially during this season where some of us are not only sitting city council members, but perhaps also running for other offices. It would be nice if information was shared so that all of us, whoever would like to be at any meeting, that way we get all the information and residents get comprehensive points of view from all sides, so that we can do our jobs well and be to as many places as we can be. Also, I was going to mention, well, I think I mentioned everything earlier, so I don't want to belabor the point. That might be it, but let me check my notes. Chair, thank you.
Councilmember Green.
Just a comment to everybody on the council. Hopefully you found the envelope that Mr. Anderson left on your desk. Councilmember Worthen, if you make sure you get with Mr. Anderson, there's an invitation. It's for the annual awards banquet for the fire department. And that is a great place for us to figure out what the department has done for the last year. And it was a great event last year. And so I would suggest there's a QR code, scan it, easy to RSVP, do that and don't miss that event and support the fire department.
My only comment falls kind of between council remarks and administrative items. Mr. Anderson and I did speak. We found out where the gap in communication was about the neighborhood meeting. I as well heard about that from one of my former neighbors, as mentioned. Mr. Sigmiller gave me a heads up about that one. But Mr. Anderson and I spoke, and we figured out where the gap in communication was, and we believe it's been corrected going forward. So with that, I don't believe there are any other items to discuss tonight.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We stand adjourned.